say there's everyone in a room, you got a room with like 30 people, and they all put their problems down on a piece of paper and put it in a hat. And y'all started walking around and pulling. Y'all like, oh, fuck, I don't want to be dealing with that. Like your darkest problems, your biggest issues, right? People would pull those up like, I don't want to deal with that, right?
Right.
You'd probably rather have your own problems. So then you're like, okay, because you're already in the midst of managing those, right? So, cool. So I can be comfortable with my own problems. Now we know that, right? So now we know that we're always going to have problems, and I can be comfortable with my problems. What do I want in my perspective to be my problem? Right? Because you get to pick and choose, right? To care about what you consider a problem. If you're always going to have 10, you never have 9, you never have 11, you get to pick what you consider a problem.
Right.
Like you're finding, like you've got cancer, but you're not really finding a problem. You're trying to go through it and look at it like, you know what? It's a chance for me to learn, grow, blah, 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 right? So you're picking it not to be a problem. All right, so we're gonna start with just trimmers. We're gonna get it all the way down.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm gonna come in with a razor and we'll come in afterwards.
All right, bet. I'll change my mind, Shay. I don't think I want to do it anymore. Man.
There's some freedom to it, man. Look.
Absolutely. No, man, honestly, I've been, for the past like week and a half or 2 weeks now, man, every time I take a shower, bro, you gotta get the camera, you gotta get like just a fucking close up of this shit so I can send it to my mom.
Look.
I mean, straight face, bro, straight face.
Woo! Woo! All right.
Here, let's duck face it, bro. Let's get him this duck face.
Fuck! Gotta have fun with it.
That is awesome.
Man, I'll be honest. This is my experience with going through being bald, right?
Yeah.
It took me a little while. Like, it took me probably a couple weeks to get used to seeing myself without hair.
Right.
And then, like, on the cool, like, my head was real pale. Like, because I have dark hair, so you have light hair. So it's not a lot lighter than your skin, but, like, I'm dark, you know? And my head was, like, blue.
Right.
And so it took me a couple weeks to tan it up. Didn't take long, a couple weeks, and it was like, you know, same color as my face kind of deal. Not long. And then, but it took me a minute, you know, to see myself that way.
Right.
And now, if I could grow hair, I'd still be fucking bald.
You don't think you would?
I wouldn't grow hair, bro.
Really?
I love being bald. I mean, I love it. Man, I'll tell you what else, dude. Like, women fucking love it.
Really?
I would, you know, I always thought women like dudes with hair. There's something about it that's just like, man, it's just mature. You know what I mean? It's just like men, like, be buff, have a beard, and be bald. Like, you're gonna have to grow some facial hair, bro. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the shitty part is like my facial hair came out first.
Came out what?
First.
Oh, it's falling out the most?
It's patchy as fuck. I don't know if you can tell, but I've got some growth right here, but all this around my mouth is like gone. It's like, it just ain't gonna grow back, I don't think. So.
It will take some time.
Yeah.
It'll take time.
Well, it's all gonna grow back eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hair might not.
Right.
Hair might not, man. You know, you're at an age right now where, like, you're probably naturally losing it some anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I really do have a receding hairline, so.
Yeah. And so, fuck it though. Dude, I'll be honest with you, man. There's something so confident about being bald. Like,
it's bold. It's a bold
It
statement.
is, man. It's like, and you know what? It's like, fuck it. Like, I don't have time in my life to care, right? About hair. Like, I don't. Like, it's funny because I do it for a living, right? Like, I care about other people's hair, but I ain't got time for my own. Like, I don't care anymore. All I care about is like shit that matters,
right?
You know, like, am I being a good dad? Are my bills being paid? Am I setting up my retirement? You know,
actual
like,
important shit.
Am I happy? Like, you know, am I doing it, like, something with my life that's worth like my time? Like, that's the shit I focus on.
Well, and dude, honestly, I feel like there's a really big like block and fear for a lot of people to go bald, especially with cancer. It's a big deal. If you've got hair your whole life and you don't ever expect to be bald,
that was me.
It fucking sucks.
I know mine wasn't cancer, but like
you didn't have a choice though.
Yeah. And you're stuck with that.
What do you think about this camera angle shot?
I mean, how have you been feeling about it? You been nervous going bald? Has it bothered you, that notion?
Man, honestly, so like it's not like...
Because it bothered me. I mean, I'm going to be real. Like, you know, right when I was like, man, I looked at my hair one day and I was like, dude, that shit looks real thin. So like, you know, I know mine's male pattern baldness. Mine's a whole different shebang. But it was like, I was looking at my hair one day and it's starting to get thin. And like, I still have I still had a lot more hair than a lot of motherfuckers I cut with hair.
Right.
But at the same time, I was
wasn't
like,
what you wanted.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's thin. It's like I'm losing my hair. Like, why am I holding on to something that's not important?
Right.
And I shaved it, and it took a while for me. Once I finally got used to it, I was like, man, this is the truth. Like, I don't like.
Right. Man, so
I wouldn't go back.
I guess to answer your question, like it's just change, you know? And it's like one of those uncomfortable things because I've never obviously been bald. And it's like, I think there is that mental block of like, fuck, what if girls don't want to like hang out with me because of it? But it's like, I know that's all in the head.
Yeah.
And so like, honestly, dude,
it took me about a week of that.
My whole fucking mental perception of cancer as a whole is not that this is a bad thing that I'm having to go through, but I'm trying to reframe it as a big change event, which is something that I'm kind of like, I'm going to be talking about this a lot in content, and I'm going to be, writing about this a lot and stuff like that. But basically, big change event is it can be a traumatizing event because there's massive change in your life.
Yeah.
But if you have a good relationship with God, I'm just going to say God because I believe in God, and if you have a good social support system, think old-timey village, town, like like a true support system, then pain is good. Man, it really is good.
So I've noticed as a person, I've always seeked it out to have problems. I put myself in positions that are difficult all the time. And some people are like, damn, I don't envy him, always doing this, that, and the other.
Right.
And then once they see me reap the rewards from it, they're always like, oh, I envy him.
Right.
But they don't want to go on the journey.
Exactly.
And so I see that, I feel that.
Yeah, so like, for me, it's like, okay, yeah, this is not gonna be fun, but what do we always ask for? Wisdom. How do you get wisdom? Perspective. Perspective is the greatest gift that comes along
from
with
trials.
me.
It comes with trials and tribulations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You got to see all sides of the fence to understand the fence line, you know what I mean?
It's still scary, man, and like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's like, it's self-confidence shit, but at the same time, like, I've already had to overcome so much shit with my perception of myself and my self-confidence due to having one hand as a kid growing up.
I could see that as a child being difficult.
Yeah, like, dude.
As an adult, you seem to make the best of it, like.
Right.
I mean, me, I always fuck with you about it because, like, honestly, to me, it's like, I'm impressed that every time I've seen you, like, you're buffer than most everyone I know with two motherfucking hands, you know what I mean? Like, you've overcame it in a lot of ways, like, you don't let it hold you back. So, I don't, like, if it held you back, if you were a bitch about it, I would never say a word about it. Right? But you do hold it down. Like, I find that cool. Like,
And I'm trying to carry that same energy into
Having cancer.
Yeah. And people notice, man, like, dude, all my nurses up at Carti, like, they love me, you know, because I'm the one guy in there making them laugh.
Yeah.
Nobody in there with cancer is making them laugh. And
Yeah.
doing stupid shit like fucking push-ups while I've got a port in and I'm getting chemo pumped in me, you know. But it's, the bald thing has kind of fucked with me a little bit.
I figured the bald thing would fuck with
But
you, 'cause you've always had hair.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, I just want to do this. I want to take control of it. I don't want to wait until it's like fucking.
That's what I
looks
did.
Gross.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
like,
what I did. Now I'll be real with you. That's the best decision.
Yeah, and dude, I might.
It's not
fucking
too
like
hot.
it.
Yeah, it's just right where it needs to be.
Oh, it feels good. Yeah. Oh, that feels good.
Oh boy!
Hey, you wanna give me some special juices on my forehead here?
Minnie, I really like that steam. That's so hot, Minnie.
Oh, this is a weird feeling. Having a razor on my head. What? So how many people do you come in that get fresh shaves often? Like
A lot, yeah. So I cut a lot of bald guys, and a lot of bald guys will take care of their own head, right? They'll shave their own head, or they'll use trimmers that get it real short, but they don't actually shave it, right? And then every once in a blue moon, they'll come and have me do it. Now, if they have beards, I see them once a month. I shave their head and I do their beards. I see them at least once a month, though. You know what I mean? I see them every other week, every 3 weeks, once a month, somewhere around there. Some is maybe as much as every 6 weeks, but I see them often enough. And when I see them, I do their head and their beard because they enjoy someone else doing it, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of upkeep.
Right.
So, as someone who is bald, you know, and does my own head, like, I go and buy, you know, to each their own on this, but like I have like my face shaving razor, which I use a Mach 3. Like, do I think they're the best? Nah, I don't have a super thick beard. I don't need the best, you know what I mean? I got a beard. A Mach 3 is readily available at every store to get blades, whether it's Walgreens, Dollar Store, Walmart, where I can get them anywhere, right? Amazon, whatever.
Right.
They're everywhere, so they're easy for me to find. But when I shave my head, I use the women's razors. I use a Venus.
Because it's like got the built-in pads.
It's got those
or
big
whatever.
pads on them, and they help like kind of gel up the head while you're shaving it, because it's so much more like, it's a very different texture than your, you know, your beard hair.
Right.
And so I like the Venus razors, but I still keep my Mach 3 because they do have such a big pad that right here around the ear, I can't ever get it real tight.
Right.
You know?
Well, and have you ever used like a one blade, like a Phillips one blade?
Yeah.
Close range. It's like it doesn't really shave, but it gets it so close you can't even honestly tell the day of.
Yeah.
I'll probably just use something like that.
So electric shavers are fine. So I don't use a lot of electric anything, because what it does is the razors inside of them tear the hair, and I get more ingrowns from that.
Really?
Because it's like, all right, so if someone a barber were on here and they were to talk to me about it, they would go, oh, you don't clean your tool enough, right? Okay. But like, I clean mine. I use a disinfectant. I use it between cuts. But what happens is it turns that hair, it cuts it at such a fine powder that those powders get clogged with inside the pore. And so it doesn't really matter about the tool itself. When I'm doing the top and stuff like that, it cuts that hair, it turns it to a powder, and those powders fall down in my pores and they get infected.
Gotcha.
And so it clogs up the pore like any other pimple would be. It has nothing to do with cleanliness.
Right.
Now, if you don't have a clean tool, yes, it will cause ingrowns.
So is there like any benefit to like...
But I'm prone to them.
Is there any benefit? Because I get razor burn on my neck pretty bad if I use a regular razor for some reason. Maybe I'm using a dull blade. I don't know. I've just always had that issue.
No, you're probably shaving it wrong.
Okay. against
You
the
know,
grain or something like that?
you can go. You should go cross grain or with the grain. Depends on the. I always start with cross. If cross doesn't bother, I'll go against. We'll get tighter. If cross bothers, then I'll go with the grain, and we just won't get it as tight.
Right.
And that's how I kind of base off those things. And so like, when you're doing your head, for instance, like if you get razor burn doing it a certain way. The difference too between a neck, getting razor burn on your neck, is you have to really stretch the skin.
Yeah.
And your skin isn't as stretchy, I would say, not the word elastic, on the head as it is on the face. So when
it's
you're doing
tighter generally as well, right?
Yeah, so it does a lot of the work for you, so it's a lot easier to shave. But even you feel me pulling tension on it, right? Like when you're shaving at home, you do the same thing with a razor. You just pull tension. So what you're doing is you're actually, when you pull, let's say my hair is going this way, right? Going down. And I pull the skin this way, it makes the hair laying like this do this.
It stands it up a little bit
And
better.
so then if the follicle's like this, there is a flap of skin on this side of it. It's very small, but it's there. It's a small flap of skin right there. And what'll happen is that once you lay the skin back down naturally, that flap covers over the hair, and it literally makes it a tighter shave.
Gotcha.
So that's how you feel that being a tighter shave that way. So that's why going against the grain, if you got a good like skin stretch, you can do that.
Right.
So if you don't get this all the way shaved with a razor in the future, it'll be fine. Like it'll still look good.
Well, so okay, here's a question for you. If I kind of have trouble with that, because I do have one hand, so I'm not really sure how the whole
damn, I didn't even think of that.
holding on to skin stuff. If I come in
here,
here like bi-weekly, like what do you
that's good.
typically charge just for doing like just the
head shave?
Just the head shave. Like what you're doing
30
tonight.
bucks.
Okay.
30 bucks. Yeah.
I didn't know if it was more work, less work.
No.
Because I mean
it's more work, but I don't charge more. I should charge 50 bucks.
Really?
I just don't. I don't.
Well, and
I know y'all can do it yourself. I know it's a treat.
Right.
You know, but and you charge for treats. That's kind of how that goes. You know, but at the same time, it's like, man, I can do it in this. It's more work, but I can do it in the same amount of time. So I don't really care what I have to do in that time. I want to be paid a certain amount an hour.
Right.
I want $1 a minute to do what I do. You know, I'd like a little more, but I don't want to be paid less than $1 a minute. So with all my services, I just kind of align myself with that notion. Like I want like at least 60 cents per minute at minimum.
Right.
So that's what I charge for. On all my services equivalent to $60 a minute.
Right. Well, and so here's a question for you. And I don't know, you might not even know about this, but with being on chemo, it dries your skin out a lot.
Okay.
And it can cause, like they actually prescribed me something to help with like, it's like an eczema or something, some type of something like that prescription.
Well, a lot of people don't have the water consumption that you have.
Yeah, so like my skin so far has been okay, but I drink
You drink a lot of water.
Dude, I'm drinking some water.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is,
I mean, water's the best catalyst to get all that shit out of you too, you know?
Right. Well, and the interesting thing is like, you know, I've got a lot of phlegm coming up and stuff like, and it's
Have you
basically
tried, like, mullein?
clear mucus. Have I tried what?
Mullein?
Mullein? No.
Mullein. So it's a leaf extract, and it'll help with coffee and phlegm up. And if you're getting any shit in your lungs, it'll help naturally as a herbal extract. It'll help like pull any type of shit up.
Okay.
So if you're dealing with a bunch of allergies from this or whatever, it's got your immune system weakened in any way,
Right.
or phlegm at that way, if you're getting mucus inside your lungs, it'll hack it up.
Right.
So I use mullein a lot as I'm a cigarette smoker. So
Right.
it keeps me from choking as much.
Right. Okay. You'll have to text me that later so I can remember that mullein.
And it's not expensive. I've got it at home. It's $30 for like, I don't know how long it lasts, 6 months to a year. I know it's a big gap, but it's like, it's a long time, you know, for $20, $25.
Well, and I was just gonna ask, like, you know, with
Maybe
having
$50 a year.
like no hair on my head, like, is my shit like what are some things I can do to just keep it hydrated, keep it good, and like any tips for somebody that's a newbie to being bald?
So I don't have any issues with mine getting dry, ever.
Okay.
Right? That skin's oily, right? And the oil is good for the skin, right? So now that I shaved my head and I quit using shampoos, I produce less grease on my face and less oil. Like I'm shiny now, right? But I'm not as shiny as I used to be, oily, right? Because your body produces sebum to condition your hair. And now that your body doesn't have any hair to condition, it'll start producing less.
Right.
So it'll actually reduce the oil on your face. Now that I don't use shampoos, so shampoos are bad for hair because they strip all your sebum, and then you have to replenish it with a conditioner. Then you strip it. Strip it. So your body's like, oh, I gotta produce.
Right.
You know, it's like when you're 14, you spank it too much.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, let's produce. You know. So anyway, so now that you've reduced your sebum, you know, it won't be so much that you're like, oh, I gotta go like wash my face, but it's enough where it's like, oh, nice, like it's conditioning my head. Right. So your body should take care of it naturally.
Okay.
If it doesn't, I would use like a post-shave balm that I sell here, which is going to be like, it tones, it protects, it's like UV, it's soothing, it's like the whole nine. So it's like a sunscreen lotion with some toner inside.
Gotcha.
So it's good.
Okay. So basically you're telling me only benefits of going bald, so I just need to get over it mentally. It's mental, but man, there's a confidence that comes, like, there's a study I read, because I was talking to TJ about it, I was like, bro, I don't know what it is, man, I love being bald, bro, like, I like it a lot. And I was like, I really was scared of it, I dreaded it, I didn't want it, I went and did it, I was kind of forced to it, but isn't everyone who does it, like, for the most part, you either do it at like a bed or something, but whatever it is, it's still being forced. Right.
You know what I mean?
Like you can't.
Like no one just
generally,
does it really.
Generally, there's nobody that just
military,
goes bald.
whatever it is. Yeah. People tell you in some form or fashion how it's gonna have to happen, and so like you're forced upon it. And then I didn't like it at first, and I just I was like, I'm getting on top of it. I'm losing my hair. It's getting thin. I don't like it. I just came in one day and just took a fucking trimmer to it and went to it.
Right.
Now, I'm like. It took, like I said, it took me a couple weeks to like see myself. I felt awkward in my own skin, looking at myself in the mirror. I felt like bashful to myself. It took a little time, and then it like now there's like a confidence that's there. Like, dude, I know that women like it. I have people like rub my head all the time, whatever. Right. But then it was like, I didn't notice any decrease in conversation from women.
Right.
And I was like, all right, cool. Like, that's cool. I look good bald. And I had a lot of my friends like, man, it actually looks really good on you. It took a little time. I had to get the confidence to sell it to them before I got the compliment. I didn't get it being bashful. So I had to kind of get used to seeing myself. And then once I was used to it and it didn't change my personality, I'm walking around just being bald, then people are like, damn, it looks good on you.
So that's kind of the thing too, is like, right? Because it's like, is this gonna change my perception of myself? Is this gonna change my identity into somebody of a lesser of a person or something like that?
I think it does. I think it definitely does change your identity as a person. I would. But I would say it's more in a direction of maturity than it would be like. Did you notice that you're more youthful when your hair was longer?
Right.
You're a little bit more goofy, youthful, stuff like that. Like you become a lot more like business-oriented bald. I don't know. At least I did. That was my experience. Like I had a mullet before I cut it bald, and then I rocked a skullet, which was retarded, but I loved it, right? Like, fuck it, I'm a barber, I can do that. So it's like, but I'm wearing my hair before I had to get rid of it. And anyway, like, I wore it all these different ways, and it was a little longer. I felt young. I was wearing like all my 90s shit all the time, like my 90s Tommy Hilfiger overalls, player ass windbreakers just dripping in sauce left and right. It was awesome. And then I went bald, and then it was like, like this shit doesn't look good on me anymore. Like clothing, for instance, changed.
It was out of place.
Yeah, it didn't look right.
Right.
And then it was like, man, but I look real good in a suit. I look real good in polo. I look real good in button-ups. Like, damn, this looks good on me wearing this. And all the things that like ended up being was for the most part like older shit, you know,
Right.
like more mature looking stuff. I think that longer hair is for the youth, and as you get older, your hair gets shorter.
Right.
You know, not always, but like when you meet guys that are 45 years old and they've got really nice, luscious, longer hair, they may be wise like an old man, but they still have the heart of a youthful man.
Right.
Right. When you get a balder guy, you'll get a guy who like it's a little more stern, a little more tough, a little like,
Right.
you know, the maturity level.
Well, okay,
to me,
so-
that's more of a man.
Right. And I understand what you're saying. So like you're almost like you're seeing it as a way of you like leveling up to the next level of manhood in a way.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
felt
sense.
that way.
So
Yeah.
what would you say?
It's almost like a rite of passage for a man, right?
Right.
You don't really it doesn't happen as boys,
Right.
you know? But like all those things that I talked about, like even if it was like you lost a football fantasy bet, you still do that older in age. You don't do that at 6.
Right.
You know,
Right.
every reason that you would shave it, military, cancer for the most part, you know. I mean, not that it doesn't happen in fucking children, but you know.
Right. Well, so okay, here's a question. What would you say to somebody that maybe is like a beautiful 25-year-old girl, or even maybe like 30s, 40-year-old girl who's about to go through the same shit that I'm going through right now,
With shaving?
but she's a girl? Like, how does she handle that?
Man, that's a good question and one I couldn't answer. I know nothing about being a woman.
Right.
Just fair enough, bro. Like, I don't know nothing. I grew up in a beauty shop. I listened to women my whole life. I've been around women my whole life. You know, at my house now, I got 2 girls, 2 girl dogs, a girlfriend. I mean, nothing but surrounded by women my whole life. But I couldn't answer that one.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I got no idea. What it's like to be a man, I understand.
Right.
Woman, nah. Someone
Well-
in your position, I don't have no idea.
Right.
Being a man, going bald. I've got that experience.
Right.
That I can speak for.
Well, and I feel like there can still be some takeaways, right? Because it's like if I still think that the
Man.
takeaway of just owning it and
Dude,
just
there
fucking
is.
like lean into it. Like
I mean-
even if you're a woman, I feel like that has to be better than trying to resist and like hang on to your hair as long as you can. and,
Speaking
like,
for a woman, couldn't do it. Like, but you know what? If wigs make you feel better, wear a wig. If you
Right.
just fuck it and be bald, man, look, there is lots of women out there that are fine as fuck bald.
I've
bro.
seen some beautiful women.
on, bro. Christy Mack. I know she's a porn star, but still, she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she went, you know, she had her little Britney Spears moment. She went through all that shit with her abusive man and in the porn industry and all the whatever. And she went and shaved her head. I was like, God, she's gorgeous, like so pretty, like
Yeah.
oof. And then Hope, my ex-wife, when we were married, you know, I took her hair from like under boob length to a bald fade, short. I loved it.
Right.
I loved it. So I don't think like women can be bald and be sexy. Britney proved that back in the day. She might have been crazy, but she was still hot.
Right.
You
Right.
know. But
Yeah.
you know, it's
I
like
feel like the core concepts of everything that we've talked about for men, though, like that still applies.
it's
to women.
fundamental. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so. Just not being one, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hard for me to speak for them. I don't think like them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't even know
Yeah.
how mentally they would handle things.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's like
It's very different than me.
Yeah, I bring that up because like I was talking to my doctor, Raja Grace. Her name's Grace. She's the sweetest doctor. I love her. She's my oncologist, but she you know, she was talking to me and she was like, "You're gonna lose your hair. Like it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
You know." And I was like, "Well, it's, you know, whatever. Like maybe I won't. I don't know." I was holding on to some hope for a little while, and you know, it kind of started thinning. You know, like right before I saw her last, and I was like, "Yeah, hair's coming out. That's the only problem that I'm having." You know, and she was like, "Well, I mean,
Pretty
not
much inevitable.
yeah." She was like, "Not to be insensitive, but at least you're a dude. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot easier for dudes than
I can
it is."
imagine it would be a lot easier for a man than a woman
and
to
so
be faced with
and
it.
I was like, honestly, like yeah, like there's like I can't imagine.
I couldn't either.
you know, being a woman, losing my hair, because I feel like there's a little bit more pride and identity with most women, like with
Yeah, I
their
would see
hair.
that. But I still say, man, it's one of those things where, you know, man, have you seen The Fall of the House of Usher?
No, but I've heard good
Oh,
things.
so
about it.
good. So
Yeah.
look, there's a great one. So if life gives you lemon, you would say what?
Make lemonade.
No. You brand it. You get everybody selling lemons. You got
okay.
videos with lemons in the background. You make lemon beers. You make everything
Yeah.
lemon. You make it a slam where like, man, that was lemon, bro. And then once you're done, you sell everything lemon and walk away from it. That's what you do. And so, yeah, lemonade can be enjoyed in the moment. If you're a simpleton and that's all it takes, enjoy your lemonade. You know what I mean?
Right.
But fuck it, man. Life throws shit at you.
Right.
You gotta take the good with the bad. You know what I mean? I think, like, there's that old saying, like, how does it go? Hard times make strong men. Strong men make good times, and good times make weak men. It's kind of like that. Like, if you're not going through shit, you're probably a weak person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and we all go through stuff. Now, someone told me this a long time ago, and I really like this. So, they were like, if you look at life, no matter what, you always have problems. Like, no matter what it is. Some are big, some are small, whatever. But for the most part, you choose your problems. Not all of them, but for the most part, right? Like, I look stupid today. Well, you put those clothes on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, most of your problems are yours. Like, oh, my wife's leaving me. My dog sucks. He's an idiot. Whatever. For a lot of that, you did that. You chose that dog. You got to take responsibility, right? But like in the long run, so he was like, so let's say there's everyone in a room. You got a room with like 30 people, and they all put their problems down on a piece of paper and put it in a hat. And y'all started walking around and pulling them. You're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to be dealing with that. Like your darkest problems, your biggest issues, right? People would pull those up. Like, I don't want to deal with that, right?
Right.
You'd probably rather have your own problems. So then you're like, okay, because you're already in the midst of managing those, right? So, cool. So I can be comfortable with my own problems. Now we know that, right? So now we know that we're always going to have problems, and I can be comfortable with my problems. What do I want in my perspective to be my problem? Right? Because you get to pick and choose, right? To care about what you consider a problem. If you're always going to have 10, you never have 9, you never have 11. You get to pick what you consider a problem.
Right.
Like you're finding, like you've got cancer, but you're not really finding a problem. You're trying to go through it and look at it like, you know what? There's a chance for me to learn, grow, blah, 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 right? So you're picking it not to be a problem. You get to pick your problem.
Right.
And you having a flat tire would be maybe something you'd have as a problem. Like, fuck it, can't. And maybe not. Maybe it's like, oh, it's a good opportunity for me to learn how to switch a tire faster.
Right.
I don't know, whatever. But it's kind of a cool way, and it really just boils down to perspective is reality. And if you want to, like, if you want something to take you down, it's going to. You're in control of your own mind, your emotions, and if you don't want it to take you down, then it won't. If you don't allow it to. So there's an
100%.
opportunity and growth from everything, and you only get growth from the hard times. It only comes from that. If everything is fucking rainbows, life is just, it's where you getting. Like the whole, it's so funny to me because this would probably piss a lot of people off, but in American society, we're so based around like this concept of Christianity and finding God and wanting to go to heaven as the end game. And heaven sounds like hell to me.
Because it's easy.
It's just perfect. I don't want it.
Right.
I don't want hell, but I
Right.
don't want perfection. It doesn't.
Right.
It's not appealing. 40 virgins and gold-paved streets, and it doesn't matter which religion you look at. It's like ideologies depicted for what man wants. But I like going through hardship. Hardship makes growth. Growth makes me proud of what I can overcome and who I am. And I think subconsciously I seek it.
Right. Well, and like, dude.
It's gonna sting a little.
Okay. Woo! Putting mace on my fucking head right now? God damn, boy. Fuck. I was gonna try to keep this mostly PG until you sprayed that
Light
shit
it up, bro.
Woo! Damn.
I'm not a PG person. There's plenty
I
of
know.
cussing in there.
That's all right. No, but yeah, dude, that's good stuff, man. I'm excited that we did this.
And two, man, like, honestly, I don't know what it feels like for you going through this right now. I don't know how you feel about your support system. I don't know where you lie with it mentally. I can only see what you're allowing me to see, but I don't really know. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like on the cool, like I don't even know like I don't know exactly much about the cancer you have or the success or the worries of it popping back up or I don't really know, right? Like we haven't really hashed into it too much. I don't know a whole lot. But no matter what, like the reason some people don't like scary movies is because they predict the plot twist, right? They're too simple to grasp. They might not know all the details, but they can see the bigger picture and kind of get a general consensus.
Right.
And like, I've never gone through this, but it seems like the biggest hurdle for someone in your position is overcoming the mental, right? And then I think that you have came up with a good approach where you're focused on health around it and being in control of that. Like I think you probably having a very large water consumption is like very vital to your success story.
Right.
I think you eating correctly is very vital to your success story. Keeping a nice mental health is a super part of that as well, and not letting it like take you down.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I've never gone through anything like that, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, yeah, dude.
But general consensus, I'm assuming just keeping that up to date. Someone going through what you're doing right now with like your head shape, man, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Consequences of what you're faced with. But honestly, I think it looks good. Look good, ball.
I'm a sexy motherfucker all the way, man.
Kind of look like a thumb, bro.
I do have that fucking cone head a little
you got
bit.
a thumb a little bit.
I got a little bit of thumb.
The head shape looks fine.
Yeah.
You got a square enough jaw.
Yeah.
Right?
Just keep my jaw
You're angled.
popped out a little bit.
You're angled enough. It looks good. I don't think it looks bad.
I think I'm gonna start like wearing some suits and shit.
It looked good on you.
Honestly, like I really.
Dude, when I wear my sports coats and I'm suited up, I look dapper.
I need to go get like some fitted suits.
What size are you?
I don't even know. I don't even
You don't
know.
know?
I haven't gotten a suit, man, in so long.
Let's pop these off. I got a suit out in the car.
Okay.
I got a jacket. We can at least look at his size.